Hey guys, welcome to another week with me. I am the Stonk Dad, and we are going to be making a video watch list going over this week's data. I think this week starts on the 8th through the 12th, so stick around if you guys want to hear a little bit more of what might be going on this week. So usually what I do to start out these videos is I go through the data. If you see on your screen, I have the SPY options data pulled up on your screen. I scroll on down here to the SPY gamma exposure levels. So what these levels are, it is the aggregate exposure of gamma in the entire market in the SPY options chain. So what this tells us is where dealers are hedged and where they're going to be positioned and where they're going to push the market either upside or downside given the levels. I like to look at the positive and negative levels. You guys know that very, very well if you follow along with me. I look intraday for the 0DT gamma levels for near-term targets intraday, and then I look for these cumulative exposure levels, which you see on your screen right here for weekly targets, monthly targets, and so on. So for right now, we are above this big, huge patch of green positive levels, which is a good sign for bulls. As long as we stay above this patch, I can continue to see upside in the market. We have a pretty large negative gamma level pull, meaning that dealers have to hedge by buying the underlying. They have to buy SPY shares in order to push it up towards these negative gamma levels to hedge their position. So I'd be looking for 690 for our upside target. 690 is the big one right here, and then 691 is shortly after that. So this is a little negative gamma batch up here, which dealers have to push towards those levels as long as we stay above these ones. So on the contrary, if we do fall below, I'd say like 682, 680-ish. We can look for these lower ones, 680, 677, and then 675 for the lower ones. But for right now, I think if we hold above 680, it's a big level of support and a big mental level as well. We should push towards that 690, which is all-time highs on the on SPY, as you can see right here. Oh, you can't even see it on your screen. But I have the chart pulled up on the right side, but around 690 is all-time highs on SPY. So there's the levels there. Very, very interesting data. I love looking at this every single week. It gives me an idea of where I should look for bounces as well as price targets for upside and downside. So there is that. Let's check the market flow. Okay, so flow map, we look at the weekly. So the weekly premiums going into next week, the 12th of December, we have about 40 million in call premiums net, and then about 7 million in put premiums net. So a big lead for the bulls going into this week on the 12th is the expiration. More people are in calls is what this means. More people are in more calls than puts at this time. Net, that's what that means, net. So 40 million calls, 7 million in puts. Let's take a look at the investing. Let's look at the economic calendar for this week. So we have, let's filter all this out real quick. Clear, United States, and 3-star. So these are usually the red folder news. For this week, we have JOLTS job openings on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Then we have the 10-year note auction at 1 p.m. Eastern. Then we have FOMC, which is going to be a big day on Wednesday. FOMC statement at 2 p.m. Eastern time, and then interest rate decision right after that. And then the press conference 30 minutes after that data comes out for the interest rate decision. Going to be a big day on Wednesday. And then Thursday we have jobless claims at 8:30, and then 12 o'clock the 30-year bond action, which is a pretty big event as well. Okay, there's that. One last thing I do want to look at is the cheaply contracts. We have Tesla puts for this week 160, more Tesla puts for 340. Those are already in the these are both in the money. So excuse me, I was getting a phone call. These are both in the money, so I wouldn't really be paying much attention to that. We do have HYG puts and then HPE calls, Mara calls, and NVIDIA puts. Okay, So I don't really follow the cheaply all that often, but it is just a fun thing to look at. I've never really taken very many trades on this one, but it is interesting to follow back and see how those do the week prior or from the week prior. Okay, so that's about it for this watch list, guys. I'm more so focused on upside in the market, given the GEX data that we just looked at for the cumulative. So look for that. Also look for the 0DT GEX levels that I do a lot of analysis on intraday, because it gives us a better idea of where the market's going to be going, as long as it's aligned with market net flow. Okay, guys, that is it for this watch list. I will see you guys in the next one.